Hi, Empress Justice here, and welcome to the late June reading for Cancer. This is for Ponavasu, Pusha, and Ashlesha. And for my Western Cancers, you want your Sun, Moon, and Lagna. All right, that's your ascendant. Now let's get into the cards. So, for your cards, we have the Queen of Autumn. Okay, generous, stylish, generous, stylish, gracious, and practical. So we've got that card right there. And then we have the Emperor card, which is right here. And then we have the Diamond card, value your self-worth. All right. Okay, so before we even get into reading the cards' meanings, I feel like some of you Cancers are judging yourself by how useful you are and how resourceful you are, and not judging your worth based on the fact that you deserve to be here like everyone else. I feel like you might be demanding too much of yourself. Don't get it twisted, right? There are certain rules of society that you've learned to kind of enjoy and take pleasure in, right? But at the same time, it feels like when you fail certain expectations, you get a little bit hard on yourself and you think to yourself, like, you know, I'm not good enough. No, you are. And you need to believe that, and you need to understand that. And you need to understand that just because you're resourceful in the situation that you're in, it doesn't mean you're not going to get yourself out of a situation. Right now, Cancers can feel a little bit dissatisfied with how their lives are turning out. But the fact that you're able to be resourceful within it, sometimes it's about transcending your situation and not necessarily just overcoming it. Sometimes it's about slipping through the cracks or being pliable rather than steamrolling your way out of your obstacles. That's what you're doing right now. You're seeing your obstacles, you're seeing where the holes are, and you're seeping your way through those holes like water, or at least that's what you're endeavoring to do. And what a coincidence, because this is autumn and earth, right? So me talking about water, yeah, but that's what you're doing. You're looking through the obstacles and you're seeping through them like water rather than attacking them head on, which is a great thing to do. It's a great strategy to have. And then with this card right here, yeah, you're organized, you're getting yourself together. It's just that the way you're doing it is not the standard way everybody else does it. So you need to stop being so hard on yourself, Cancer. That's what you need to do. Okay. Now, let's see what we've got in store for you in terms of, in terms of the notes here. Let's read through my cards first, though. We've got be practical with respect to how you proceed. That's the Queen of Autumn. The ability to make anything more beautiful. Meeting someone who can help your dreams come true. Yeah. I feel like at the same time, you're kind of moving through these obstacles in a more pliable fashion, that you're increasingly coming into contact with people who hold the key as to what you're looking for. Like you're increasingly learning from the people around you as well as teaching them. So it's like you're learning you're learning from people and teaching them at the same time, which means you're more active and you're more you're more activated than you normally are. And I feel like there's gonna be it's something to do with your career. You're more activated than you were. You're more activated than you have been before. But again, your worth does not lie in what you do. Your worth lies in who you are, right? Who you are as you are at your base level. That's where your worth lies. It's not in how much service you can provide for people. You deserve to be here like everyone else. So if you find yourself not fulfilling, like, you know, the usual Queen of Pentacles standards, like being able to, you know, being able to turn your societal role into something powerful, which you will anyway, because you're Cancer. That's what you always do. If you find yourself not being able to turn your social role into something more powerful and empowering for you, if you're not able to do that immediately, I want you to come back to this and remember, you deserve credit and you deserve to know your worth. Okay. And then with the Emperor card now, Use logic and structure to increase your success. Get organized, a firm but compassionate leader. That's exactly what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing. You are making the most of your situation, and you're becoming more organized as a result. In other words, Cancer, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You're just judging yourself a little bit too harshly. Now, let's get into your notes. Okay, so it says here, working from home, intuitive change, large legal firm, government law, the courts, powerful church, very powerful and stable organization, leadership in the beauty industry, successful parenting, wealth creating, generous home. And for your most important notes, we've got practical choice and common sense. I feel like, yeah, you know what's up. You know what the right thing is to do, and you're not making excuses. A lot of people tend to make excuses for why they do what they do. And it's been said that your sign, Cancer, in sidereal astrology anyway, I don't know about Western, it's been said that your sign tends to be the most immature of your signs, or the slowest to mature. The thing about that is, because you're the slowest to mature, you're the truest in your maturity. Okay, sometimes the most mature people on the planet are people who took the longest to mature, because they actually did it. It wasn't a speed run. They didn't go through all the signifiers, the usual signifiers of being a grown-up. They allowed themselves to live. They allowed themselves to feel. They allowed themselves to process their emotions. So they, by the time somebody's like in their 40s or 50s, emotionally they can be so much more ahead of other signs, because they've given themselves the time to mature more slowly. When you do anything more slowly, it sticks. And that's exactly what we've got here. That's exactly what's happening. You mature more slowly, so it's sticking. Okay. And when it comes to everything that I've listed here, once again, these are signposts. I do see that, again, you're making everything work in your favor. You can see the limitations that are in front of you when it comes to how your life is turning out. And again, you're seeping through the cracks. You're becoming pliable. And you're becoming organized and prepared, which is wonderful. And I love that for you. Also, when the full moon hit, no, not the full moon, it was a new moon in Margashirsha. It hit your 11th house of peers, right? So focusing on your social group, focusing on your peer group is going to be really important. Knowing you will have like a select few of really steady, really comfortable friends that you can kind of come to, you can kind of rely on. And that's good for you, because that peer group is going to be kind of essential to your success in a way, which is a good thing, because yeah, your success looks steady. It doesn't look imminent. It just looks like you're steadily working towards it, and you're going to achieve it through being careful and methodical rather than, you know, rushing ahead with anything. Again, that's a Cancer move. Everything is a micro movement, right? We've got the Ace of Swords here. Now, usually that's about truth. It's about knowing who you are. And I feel like, Cancer, you've been looking at yourselves unflinchingly. That, you see, that's another thing about Cancers, right? Especially sidereal Cancers. You look at yourselves unflinchingly, and because of that, you kind of mature on a level other people don't, even though it takes you longer. You're honest about your situation, and you're not taking it personally either. If you look around and see that your life is not where you want it to be, you're not taking it personally. You're kind of thinking to yourself, okay, what can I change here? And that's where this comes in. Now, we've got 2 Queen of Pentacles, which reveals to me exactly where your mind is at and exactly where your focus is at. It's at your home, career, and wealth. You are focused on creating stability and creating security. And the way in which you're doing it is that you're working with what you already have. You're using what you have to get what you want. Now, usually people do that anyway, but there's a specific way you're doing it that is maximizing productivity, that is rooted in, yes, common sense and practicality. So yeah, you're being honest with yourself, and then what follows is you utilizing everything about yourself, both the good and the bad, to get somewhere. Do you understand what I mean? That's what's going on. You're becoming more practical, and you're gaining more internal authority. You're gaining more internal authority over yourself. You're gaining self-mastery because you're developing healthy boundaries that are revolved around giving yourself stability and giving yourself comfort. Okay, so this is connected with this. Ordinarily, I'd say you're not trusting other people too much. And ordinarily, I should say to you that that's not necessarily the right approach. But in this particular case, it's for good reason. Because not everybody wants you to succeed in life. Not everybody wants you to do the best. Like, there are some people who just want to ruin things for you. So you're keeping your cards as close to your chest as possible. If other people are looking at you and thinking you're not doing anything, you just let them think that. Just let them think that, because you don't have the time to be navigating people's negative energy when it comes to what you're trying to do. You don't have time for that. With this represents someone else. This represents somebody who is kind, who is sensitive, who is, maybe younger than you, maybe less experienced than you, who wants your guidance, but in turn, they give you like emotional support and emotional comfort and guidance. So I feel like a healthy dynamic is forming in your friendships and in your relationships, because you're kind of engaging with people who are emotionally intelligent, but maybe not as practically intelligent as you. So you've got emotionally intelligent people becoming like, you're engaging in a sort of relationship with them, whilst there are some other people who are maybe not as emotionally intelligent as you, trying to sabotage you. It's not going to work though, because they're just not on your level. They're not on your level, Cancer. It's not going to work. Okay, so that's it for Cancer. That was for Punavasu, Pusha, and Ashlesha, and for my Western Cancers, Sun, Moon, and Lagna. I am Empress Justice. I'll see you in the next reading. Peace and blessings. Bye bye, my darlings.